Welcome all to this incredible universe. I'm so glad to see you again. This is a bit of last week's sermon, which we didn't really get out there to you. And this week's may be coming later, may not. We might even pull off a combo special, who knows. Gila Kasla. Gila Kasla. Welcome. Welcome to this most wonderful place called Earth. This Earth we now, in this space, in this moment, recognize as the unceded territories of the Kwakwala speaking people. Iknas. Ikmen. Welcome you and all the new life that we've been blessed with this week. Aisley and John Fenty have had their most precious boy child delivered to them. Samson, 9 pounds, 7 ounces. Everyone is doing well, and we are so thankful for that. And some of us were lucky enough to see Samson last Wednesday. Hopefully there'll be another sighting soon. All is well. The candle is lit. We've changed the format a bit today. Please take a moment now to listen to Karen Stewart, member of our congregation, today as she reads the passage, The Road to Emmaus. Listen up.
A reading from Luke, chapter 24, verses 13 to 48. Encounter on the Emmaus Road. On that same day, 2 disciples were traveling to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking to each other about everything that had happened. While they were discussing these things, Jesus himself arrived and joined them on their journey. They were prevented from recognizing him. He said to them, "What are you talking about as you walk along?" They stopped, their faces downcast. The one named Cleopas replied, "Are you the only visitor to Jerusalem who is unaware of the things that have taken place there over the past few days?" He said to them, "What things?" They said to him, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth. Because of his powerful deeds and words, he was recognized by God and all the people as a prophet. But our chief priests and our leaders handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. We had hoped he was the one who would redeem Israel. All these things happened 3 days ago, but there's more. Some women from our group have left us stunned. They went to the tomb early this morning and didn't find his body. They came to us saying that they had even seen a vision of angels who told them he's alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found things just as the women said. They didn't see him." Then Jesus said to them, "You foolish people, your dull minds keep you from believing all that the prophets talked about. Wasn't it necessary for the Christ to suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" Then he interpreted for them the things written about himself in all the scriptures, starting with Moses and going through all the prophets. When they came to Emmaus, he acted as if he was going on ahead. But they urged him, saying, "Stay with us. It's nearly evening, and the day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. After he took a seat at the table with them, he took the bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, but he disappeared from their sight. They said to each other, "Weren't our hearts on fire when he spoke to us along the road, and when he explained the scriptures for us?" They got up right then and returned to Jerusalem. They found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were saying to each other, "The Lord really has risen. He appeared to Simon." Then the 2 disciples described what had happened along the road and how Jesus was made known to them as he broke the bread. While they were saying these things, Jesus himself stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." They were terrified and afraid. They thought they were seeing a ghost. He said to them, "Why are you startled? Why are doubts arising in your hearts? Look at my hands and my feet. It's really me. Touch me and see, for a ghost doesn't have flesh and bones like you see I have." As he said this, he showed them his hands and feet. Because they were wondering and questioning in the midst of their happiness, he said to them, "Do you have anything to eat?" They gave him a piece of baked fish. Taking it, he ate it in front of them. Jesus said to them, "These are my words that I spoke to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law from Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms must be fulfilled." Then he opened their minds to understand the scriptures. He said to them, "This is what is written. The Christ will suffer and rise from the dead on the third day, and a change of heart and life for the forgiveness of sins must be preached in his name to all nations, beginning from Jerusalem. You are the witness of these things." This is the trustworthy witness of God's faithful people through the ages, the divine word to us today. Amen.
Thank you, Karen. Another journey, another road. That's our theme time today. There are many wonderful and challenging stories of the Bible, which some of you may or may not be able to recall. There's the Adam and Eve story, the David and Goliath story, Samson, and if you don't remember, maybe look it up. But today's story, found in the New Testament on the road to Emmaus, which Karen just read, is a story I've come to identify with in many ways. All the stories we identify that we've learned over time, this one has spoken to me more and more these past few months, especially from our Easter to our Christmas season. In this story, I see struggle, I see visions, and the disappearance of the answer. It's complicated, and it's hard, but it's a path we have chosen to tread. This week, in my presentation, I recognize Michael Morwood for his dedication and his videos through Pastor Don, Cynthia Bourgeau, who wrote this book, Wisdom Jesus. I've studied Cynthia for quite a while, and she's very difficult but incredibly brilliant. Pastor Don, of course, among my regulars, and Richard Rohr, also a Brian Sweeney, and a Brian Greene, both who talk about the cosmos from physics point of view, and various others that have joined me along the path. Mr. Morwood would like us to recognize the universe in its vastness from a 21st century mind. That's what I get the most from him. That 21st century mind is taking the time to stare up at the universe through the Hubble telescope. It reveals more than my parents ever knew, and in the past few years, between string theory, multi-universes, dimensions beyond dimensions, smaller than smaller, larger than larger, nearer than nearer, on and on it goes, until I think that I can never understand any of it. Yet, we need to, and we will try. So, from the first century story of walking with an unrecognized Christ along the road to Emmaus, to the 21st century quantum leap, let's just try and dip our toes into the possibility of what we are here for. What are we here for? Amanda, I will sing God of Creation. I'll see you back at the other end of this song. The visuals you get on this are all taken from the Hubble telescope. They are real.
Breath of Creator, essence of stardust, Lord of eternity, keeper of time, wisdom of ages, through eons unfolding, called into love by God's own design. Word of God spoken, Christ here among us, lighting the way with compassion and grace, fountain of mercy, of wisdom and justice, beautiful vision of God's loving face. God of communion, love without limit, seated in stardust and sprung from your word. Breath of the Spirit through all of creation, make our hearts one with the author of all.
We Christians are present here in a very small universe, especially if our little universe is a system divided by heaven and hell. It's pretty small. Let's stretch it out to the science of the day. There are countless realms or dimensions of existence. And I'm going to quote for you a line from the Wisdom Jesus. When we view those dimensions of existence, all of which exist to mirror all of which exists, all these dimensions that exist, all of which exist to mirror or manifest an aspect of the divine fullness. Thank you, Cynthia. Let's take that and quote John 14:2. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. These are not physical places, but rather states of consciousness or dimensions of divine energy. Thank you, Millie. Lie down. Good boy. Good girl. We begin in light. And now we are descended into this world with all its heaviness of being here. Here we are crashing into each other. We are crashing into the reality of our existence. And this is a very finite and physical world, a very particular dimension. Physics has no problem in understanding that this is only matter, condensed energy. I don't understand it, but I know it to be true. The next form of energy from that condensed energy is known as psychic energy, pure spirit. Pure spirit. The Spirit of the Lord has come upon me. Pure spirit has the ability to affect and change this matter that we are a part of. And this matter, this world, expresses itself, the spirit is expressed through traditions. Judeo-Christian tradition, I am. The mystical Islam tradition, reality. Tibetan Buddhism tradition, pristine awareness. Just short little words to explain vast and complicated doctrine, procedures, worship, spirituality. Take what you want. The names vary, but virtually every ancient wisdom roadmap takes us to a spiritual life, on a journey from the cosmos to our earthly state of being. That is big. So here we are. Here I am. There we are. 14.7 billion, correct me if the numbers are wrong, years are now condensed down to this moment in this little speck of me or you in this universe, given the gift to contemplate ourselves, who we are, and why we are here. It's a long road to Emmaus. So what are we doing here in this dense, fragile, finite, closed little place? Here in this home, in this sense of, here in this home, we have stories. And sometimes these stories give us a sense of exile. Our stories tell us that we've been kicked out of somewhere, rejected, unloved even. Our stories sometimes tell us that we are wretched. We are the wretched child of Eve. How could this be? For God so loved the world. You know how it goes. Life presents us with choices. Our little Samson came into the world, is ready to choose to drink milk, to choose to reach out and be loved. Life presents us with choices. Agendas become confusing. Our bodies age. All 6 trillion cells in this body, and each cell which contains multiple atoms. It's just too much to fathom or understand. Our bodies age. Our bodies shed. We seem nailed to the ground we're on, along with our souls. We see in the babies so much life, so much. And when we held the little ones, we want to cry. It makes us so happy. We want to cry. And they say they are the hidden treasure. And they love to be known. And they want to become known. And there's the risk. To become known, we must take the risk of embracing love. And with that love comes the possibility of rejection and heartbreak in this world. And in order to love one another, we all have to risk the opportunity or the possibility of rejection. The gamble of revealing ourselves makes us very fragile. But the greater the exposure, the greater the love, the more powerful we become, and the more intimacy we have available to us. What is this love? Steadfastness, tenderness, commitment, forbearance, fidelity, and forgiveness. This is the end result of divine love. And we can test that love in our behavior. See who you become when we bump up, or you bump up, or I bump up to the hard edges of this life, and how we respond. In forgiveness, in commitment, in fidelity, in forbearance, or compare it to rage or violence. Rage or violence that we allow to emerge from us. And in the end, there's the tears. The tears of joy of birth. The tears of joy of love. The tears of sadness. The tears of suffering. Tears are what we have to offer when our hearts break. And yet, go on loving. Go on forgiving. Go on committed. Go on whatever becomes you. We are here on this journey to Emmaus to go on loving, because we come from divine energy of love, which was in the beginning, and now and forever shall be. And then Jesus left them. Amen.